can you explain that a single person has 18 different identities in 33 cities across 14 states? Who is she, really? Hello and welcome. Today we'll be delving into the case of Kimberly Kessler, the woman with many identities. She's an imposter, master of disguise, and a cold-blooded killer. One who you'd never wish to cross paths with. Let's get right into it. In 2018, we've got this wild story unfolding at Tangle's hair salon in Fernandina Beach, Florida. Kimberly Kessler has been hustling under the alias Jennifer Seibert for a whole month. Her co-stylist, Joleen Cummings, smells something fishy from the get-go, but Kessler, with a laundry list of identities, isn't about to let a coworker blow her cover. In April 2018, Seibert/Kessler is deep into researching vanished bodies in Florida. Why? Well, for this sociopath, no body means no murder, right? But when Cummings goes missing a month later, Kessler's attempt at covering her tracks goes sideways, and suddenly she's the main suspect. You won't believe the twists and turns in this real-life drama. On May 18, 2018, things got tempered between Seibert and Joleen at Tangle's. A confrontation ensued when Seibert followed Joleen and her manager to the back of the shop for a smoke break to eavesdrop. Joleen wanted to speak to her manager about something personal while Seibert loomed in the background. Frustrated, Joleen called her out, saying she was fake and crazy. Seibert didn't respond to her accusations, but instead started to put a plan in motion mentally. Fast forward to their next salon shift. Seibert's on edge, unsure if her plan will work. Joleen, oblivious, keeps asking for help with clients. Seibert plays it cool, hiding behind her phone, pretending to be confused. Meanwhile, Joleen's got big plans for her birthday and Mother's Day with her kids. A chilling day unfolds when Joleen goes entirely off the grid. She had a routine appointment to pick up her kids from their dad and never showed. Jason, her ex, becomes seriously concerned and reluctantly brings their kids home. Despite their past, he cares deeply for her. He reaches out to Joleen's mom, Ann Johnson, who reports her missing to the local authorities. The sheriff's department jumps into action, issuing a missing persons flyer. On May 15, they roll up to Tangle's hair salon, eager to talk to Jennifer Seibert, the supposed last person to see Joleen. Seibert, parked outside the salon, gets a message from a coworker about the police. Without hesitation, she left the salon to avoid questioning. Later that evening, officers discovered Seibert sleeping in her black Kia Soul at a rest area in St. Johns County. Sporting band-aids on her face and hands, she spun a tale about biking through a tree branch, but it was evident she'd been living in her car. Simultaneously, deputies located Joleen's deserted SUV at a Home Depot lot. Surveillance footage timestamped at 1:17 a.m. on Sunday, May 13, captured the vehicle entering, and minutes later, Jennifer Seibert emerged, not Joleen. Seibert got nabbed for stealing Joleen's car on May 16, landing her in St. Johns County Jail. And here's where it gets wild. Social Security number and fingerprints unveiled that Jennifer Seibert has been deceased since 1987, and in fact, Kimberly Lee Kessler, a missing woman from Butler County, Pennsylvania, was the result of the background check. One missing person was found, only to turn into the prime suspect in another missing persons case. But why was Kessler using a stolen identity? As investigators pieced together the bizarre past of Kimberly Kessler, a chilling picture began to emerge and a horrifying new possibility. Was Kessler involved in other unsolved disappearances? Who is Kimberly Kessler? Let's go back to 1986 in Butler County, Pennsylvania, where Kimberly Kessler was born. She is the oldest of 3 siblings. Unlike many other criminals, Kimberly had a pretty good childhood. She was well liked, had a regular upbringing, the whole deal, but here's where the plot thickens. In her early teens, things changed dramatically. Classmates noticed a change so drastic that one of them described it like she finished a term as one person and came back as a whole new character. Once part of the popular crew, it was like a switch flipped, and suddenly everyone was scared of her. Her personality took a dark turn, and even a former friend started keeping a low profile to avoid crossing paths. Ray Wyant, who knew both Kessler and her brother Bob, spilled the beans on Kessler's violent temper. Crossing her had serious consequences. If you crossed her, the repercussions were extreme. Once, after a fight with her brother Bob, she waited until he had gone to sleep, then crept into his room and smashed him in the mouth with a baseball bat, knocking out most of his teeth. What? That's ice cold. Tim Barnes even dated and lived with Kessler for a bit after high school. Recalling their tumultuous time together, Barnes recounts Kimberly Kessler's violent outbursts, including killing his cat with a shotgun, stabbing him in the chest, and assaulting his father. In 1987, the same year Jennifer Seibert died, rumors circulated that Kimberly, his sister, might have caused a fatal motorcycle accident involving her brother Bob Kessler. This was when she began using aliases. Barnes also shared an eerie graveyard visit with Kessler, where instead of visiting her father's grave, she scouted gravestones of girls her age to steal names. Xylon Losi, who married Kessler twice in the early 90s under the alias Melissa McKernan, described their relationship as chaotic. Tim Edwards, who dated her in 1996 when she went by Miranda McKernan, revealed she used the name Christina Brooks on their son's birth certificate to hide her location from her allegedly abusive family. You can start to see the difficulty in tracing this wild story, as there are so many rabbit holes to follow. In 1999, Kessler's son was taken away from her care. This made her show up at social services with a handgun in a failed attempt to regain custody. She vanished after that, mentioning her intention to leave town due to fear of her ex. The last sighting in Butler County was on July 4, 2004. From 2004 to 2018, she wandered from state to state and job to job, from waitressing to stripping. In 2004, she even acquired a cosmetology license in Florida using a fake name. A former acquaintance from that time described her as odd, job-hopping, and facing accusations of theft and vindictive behavior. Crossing paths with Kimberly Kessler was like playing with fire. Get on her bad side, and you'd pay the price. She didn't just stop at being a chameleon. She collected new identities like people collect shoes. She became a master of disguise. She'd adopt a new persona, pull off scams, and vanish, only to resurface somewhere else and repeat the whole cycle. Her actions became more unpredictable. A man she connected with on Facebook shared that, just a day after they started talking, she drove from Florida to Texas to have lunch with him. On the same day, she popped the question about marriage. After he declined and blocked her, he later discovered she had been tracking him on Facebook under 7 different aliases, a revelation that came to light when the police got involved. Suddenly, she vanished into thin air. In 2014, Kessler enrolled in a Jacksonville hair academy, where her peculiar behavior raised eyebrows. An instructor noted her habit of jotting down every detail in a notebook, and even climbing into a cabinet just to test if she'd fit. One day, she asks a classmate if she can keep a piece of sunburned skin, which freaks out her instructor enough to dig into her criminal background. Fast forward to 2018, and Kessler's nomadic journey had taken her through 14 states and 33 cities, and she had amassed at least 17 aliases. She had honed the art of identity theft, mastering various disguises. Each identity came with a complete transformation, from how she dressed to her walk and talk. Before her stint at Tangles, she briefly worked at Woody's Barbecue in Fernandina Beach, where her manager witnessed her devouring a pound of beef with her bare hands. Coworkers sensed there was something off about her. In April 2018, Kessler entered Tangles, this time under the alias Jennifer Seibert. The manager soon sensed something off about her, but the job was already hers. Oddly, when leaving work, the manager would spot Kessler sitting in her car, watching. Among the Tangles staff, Joleen Cummings was the one who grasped the seriousness of the situation. She felt an unsettling vibe and wanted to check Kessler's criminal background. Sadly, her instincts were spot on, but tragically, they discovered it too late. Before Cummings' disappearance, surveillance footage reveals Kessler, wobbly on her feet, tossing heavy trash bags behind Tangles, followed by a late-night Walmart spree for ominous supplies: 30-gallon trash bags, an electric carving knife, cleaning gloves, and ammonia. Back at the salon, Kessler dumps more mysterious bags into the dumpster, collected by a garbage truck never to be seen again. But here's where it gets bone-chilling. 2 weeks before the murder, Kessler's browser history exposes her cold-blooded plan. Searches like coworker guilty of murder and missing person body not found send shivers down the spine. In Kessler's car, investigators unearth a trove of false documents, uncovering her 18-alias journey across 33 cities and 14 states since 1996. Cummings' DNA was discovered on socks, boots, and scissors inside Kessler's car, alongside her blood and a fingernail in Kessler's rented storage unit. The pieces are falling into a disturbing puzzle. In September 2018, Kessler faced charges for Cummings' murder, but here's where it gets even more bizarre. She pulls a hunger strike in jail, dropping to a shocking 89 pounds, claiming incompetence for trial. Despite her courtroom appearances, wheeled in emaciated and ranting, the judge deemed her mentally competent. Hold on, it gets crazier. Kessler racks up a battery charge after a disturbing incident in jail where she strips down and smears feces on herself and the cell walls, even flinging it at guards. When her trial kicks off, the disruptions and verbal outbursts force her sequestration in another room. Finally, in December 2021, the saga concluded with Kessler sentenced to life without parole. Sheriff Leeper gleefully announces her new home in Florida State Prison. Unfortunately, the tragic part is that Joleen Cummings' body or remains are still nowhere to be found. Kimberly Kessler makes us wonder how many more evil people are out there under fake identities. We're still waiting for Cummings' body to be found. If we have anything on the news, we'll surely let you know. For more interesting stories, do like and subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Until then, stay safe.